It's time for more Clubhouse chatter. Here's Norm Ordez and Judah Newby.
Hey, thanks, Brian. So once again, Mr. Judah Newby hanging out with us today.
What's up? What's up?
It's always good to hear the glory days stories of when Judah was like 7 and 8. And so our last guest of the day is something a little bit different tonight. I caught this story on Channel 12 News over the weekend, and it's with the Mid-Valley Baseball League out of Woodburn. And so I did a little research, and I found out that Danny Peterson, who is you're the executive director, the president?
President, yeah.
Of the league. He's a McMinnville guy as well, living in Woodburn now. And you had a little bit of a problem. You had some money come up missing.
Yeah, we had our treasurer take a bunch of the funds out of our accounts throughout the year. So we kind of pieced things together over the holiday weekend and then turned it over to the police. But yeah, we basically had all of our funds stolen.
You know, it's an unfortunate thing because that is happening all across the United States more and more. I know years ago, before Mac Parks and Rec took over the baseball program, we had a little league, and that happened as well. And so that was probably late 80s, like early 90s.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I was in town. Well, I was older. I wasn't in Little League at the time, but I do remember when that happened. My dad actually used to be president of Little League in McMinnville when I was in baseball.
And who's your dad?
Jim Peterson.
Okay.
He's now he lives out of town towards Dayton. But
okay.
Yeah, so he was pretty well involved with it when I was growing up and stuff. So I do remember when that occurred, and it is happening more and more. We seem to hear it, the end of every season, and not just with baseball, but youth sports in general.
Right. And so the Mid-Valley League, how many kids do you have playing, and is it baseball, softball, or just baseball?
It's baseball, and then next season we're actually starting softball. So right now, currently, it's baseball, and we have about 90 players a season that come out and play, starting from third grade up to eighth grade. We do JPO. Okay.
And so how many fields you got? Where do you guys play at?
We play at Centennial Park in Woodburn. There's 4 fields and a concession stand in the middle of it. Actually, our group, not our group of board members, but the board for Mid-Valley wrote a grant a few years back with the city Parks and Rec to get the fields built and to get the scoreboards out there and to do kind of the initial setup of the baseball park. And so then we've maintained it through kind of the peaks and valleys of running a baseball league since that time. That was around 2006.
Okay.
Before we stepped in.
And since this story broke, what has the response been like?
It's been really nice, very surprising. We started a GoFundMe account and put it on our Facebook, and we've had a really positive response. And actually, other associations that we play against in our league have reached out. So we've recovered in donations about half of what we lost, maybe just over that.
Okay.
Which really helps. It means next season we start without having to worry about raising enough money to cover insurance and the initial costs. And then we've gotten quite a few commitments from people to help with some of our goals that we had set for that money before it was taken, which was replacing scoreboards. We have 2 that the transmitters don't work anymore, so we can't use them during tournaments. So getting those repaired, and then one of the big steps is to get home run fences on our field so we can host, some of the bigger tournaments.
Okay. And where are you guys standing on, how are you guys on equipment?
Equipment we have constant equipment issues. We're always turning them over. Last year was the first year we had money in the last 4 years to start buying equipment. We started with catcher's gear for every level and equipment bags. We've replaced a few bats. Mm-hmm. So one nice part about baseball is all the kids want to own their own bat. So most of the time there's too many, but we have to provide at least 3 typically per team.
Right.
So we probably have 6 to 9 bats we need to replace for next season, and then our helmets were one of our big next steps. Was we were replacing all the helmets for the league because they're all very out of date.
Yep.
So that was one of our big ones was getting those cleaned up.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying, and matching. Right now, they're all a mismatch. One team's burgundy, one team's blue.
I have that problem.
A couple nice red ones.
Yeah, I have that problem over here in McMinnville. So I do the equipment for the McMinnville Parks and Rec, and I have that problem too.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Norm a second ago about my experience growing up in Park and Rec baseball here in McMinnville and how important it was for me formationally, just to not only learn and connect to the game, but connect with my friends and learn about life through success and failure on the ball field as a little kid. I come away so impressed just hearing and talking to you and hearing the passion about what you guys need to keep this league sustainable and to bring softball on board and to replace scoreboards. It's the minute details where I can really hear your passion. Where did that passion come from? I know your father was involved in it when you were younger as well, but when you take a step back and sometimes think about, why am I doing this? What's the answer?
Well, a lot of it, the obvious answer is it's our kids. My son, I want him playing baseball and other sports too, but I played baseball, so I want him to at least experience it with his friends. And that's the main thing. And then once you get in there and you start doing it, it's all of his friends and all the other kids. You want it to be a good experience for them. So, I think a lot of it comes from that. And our board is really focused on all the kids having a good quality experience. We don't draw the biggest numbers, in Woodburn, so it's a challenge every year to get the teams evened up right, so the kids are playing with the right kids and everybody gets to have fun. And since we're all volunteer based, it's a challenge to get coaches and to get them up to speed and everything going the right way. But I think the primary motivation for all of us is our kids.
And for you and the board right now, what is the direction that you want to head? Obviously, funds need to still be raised. You need about the amount that you have right now that is raised. You need that same amount in order to earn back the unfortunate losses. So what do you guys tell yourselves as far as what's your game plan moving forward and your thoughts moving forward on how to keep trying to raise this money and keep the exposure going?
Well, that right now our primary focus is to get back to where we were, and then to move forward with the things that we want to clean up. Getting the scoreboards fixed, getting those things taken care of, replacing the equipment we need to replace, and fundraising is. We're pretty good at it. We over 3 years we had zero money. Most of the board stepped in about 3 to 3.5 years ago. That's active right now. And over those 3 years, we had raised that $8,000. And that was kind of the goal. You have a couple thousand the first year left over, and then $4,000 to $5,000 the next year, and then this year we had $8,000, and then it was time we could start spending money. And that's what's hard is now it's gone.
Yeah.
So whatever we raise off the GoFundMe and whatever we raise just from people reaching out to help is great. We'll continue to raise money to be able to to buy the kid cleats who doesn't have them, to get baseball gloves, all that stuff. And we have parents who volunteer to do bake sales. We've got companies in town that have volunteered to do, the local yogurt shop. He'll do, 30% of all proceeds one night, and we can just tell everybody to come in and eat yogurt. Stuff like that.
Right.
So, and car washes, of course, because that's a classic.
Yep.
You got to have car washes. So we're going to continue to do those things on top of just this really great response we're getting from tons of communities. There was somebody on GoFundMe from Kentucky that gave some money. So it's really gotten out there.
So how can we help you guys out? So we're going to put this out. This will be uploaded to YouTube. It'll be out on iTunes. We'll spread it through Facebook. We'll also attach the GoFundMe site. How else can we help you guys out?
Really getting the word out about the GoFundMe and then just telling our story, letting people know the things that we're up against is really great. And then just the connection with all of the other baseball groups, McMinnville and then the other teams that we play against. is helpful, because the more people that hear about the story, the more people can say, hey, I've got something I can do to help. I mean, I don't know if there's more you can do other than what you're already doing, which is getting our story out there.
Right. Well, I would love to be able to do more. So I will get in touch with you and brainstorm some ideas with you. I've got a couple of ideas in my head to help you guys out. As I've been with the McMinnville Parks and Rec for 20 years, I do their baseball equipment and stuff like that, and so I know how hard it is. It is. It's crazy hard, and of course we're much bigger than what you are over there in Woodburn. So, but I know what it's like just starting out. And Clubhouse Chatter and the blog that I write for 9 Inning Know-It-All, we would like to help you guys out in some way. And so we'll brainstorm some ideas to help you guys out as well. And anytime you're back home in McMinnville, man, give me a call. Let's sit down and chat.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll reach out to you, and anything you guys come up with, we'll be happy to hear. I mean, even if it's just good vendors to work with for things like helmets and stuff along those lines. I mean, we have a few that we work with, but we're definitely not in touch with everybody out there. So
right.
Yeah, anything you think of, please pass along to us, and we'll stay in touch with you.
All right, that sounds good. So once again, Mr. Danny Peterson of the Mid-Valley League out of Woodburn, www.gofundme.com/ Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the best route is through Facebook.
Okay.
The links on the Facebook page, I don't know if you've done a GoFundMe before, but we found out it takes them about a week before you can actually find yourself on their website.
Yes.
If you GoFundMe and you search for Mid-Valley, you won't find us. Yeah,
I had that problem too this last year with my, we did one for my dad's service, and so it was hard. So
yeah. So really, the Facebook page, just Mid-Valley Baseball. On the Facebook page, there's a link there. That'll get you to the correct GoFundMe spot.
So, quick funny story about Danny. And so I'm sitting there watching the newscast, and my wife, Meg, former Meg Simons, who's the sister of Tim Simons, who I believe you went to school with. And so she looked at me and she was like, "Is that our Danny Peterson?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yes, it is." And so, and she looked over to me and she goes, "You need to help him." And so, and I mean, right from the get-go, I knew that, we would like to help out and do something for you guys. And so, once again, we'll sit down and help you guys figure it out. Don't hesitate to call and ask for anything. And we'll hook up one of these days. Once again, Danny Peterson and the Mid-Valley Board guys, thank you very much. Good luck. I know it's a crappy deal, but you know what? It's all going to work out, and it's going to take time. And I'm sure if you talk to people who've had this experience before, you know what? Somehow, some way, it ends up turning into gold for you guys.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
And so keep your guys' heads up, and thank you for coming on the show.
No problem. Thank you. I appreciate the time.
All right. Once again, Danny Peterson. All right. Well, what are you thinking, Judah?
Well, see, I'm going to help him out for sure. Norm, I know you're going to do the same, and what a cool platform that Clubhouse Chatter can be and the 9 Inning Know-It-All can be to keep spreading that story. And you're right. I find it intriguing, your wife's reaction just right away. This is a guy we got to help, because that tells me that he's got some ethos to him, that he has a proven track record, that it's a worthwhile cause, and this is a worthwhile operation that he's running. And you can hear the passion in his voice. So
absolutely.
Let's help him out, guys. Let's do it.
So what I'm thinking, Brian, is we're talking about doing some shirts. And, I get a pretty good deal with the shirts through MDM Design and Mark Canham. And so we could bump up the price a little bit and donate, $4 for every shirt sold, possibly. I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm thinking right off the top of my hand.
Your shirts are going to be cheap anyway, right?
Yeah. They're going to be under $20, under $19, $18,
Can't beat that.
Cheap. So once again, Mr. Judah Newby. Judah, this has been awesome. Let's do this again.
Yeah, let's. Anytime that I can just sit back and talk baseball with people that are interested in baseball, I'm down.
Let Chop know. Hey, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about baseball while we got a little bit of time.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
So,
where to start?
Here we go. So, finish this sentence for me.
Yeah.
Blank will win the National League.
St. Louis Cardinals. I'm biased.
He is a Cardinal fan.
I'm a Cardinal fan. That's 1A, and then I root for the Giants as my second team. But it's obviously they've played each other in NLCS. I've been rooting for the Cardinals a little bit more each time. I'm worried though. Cardinals have been stumbling a little bit as of late. They've lost, I think, 5 of the last 6. And the Dodgers, they've got great pitching right now too. And if the Cubs can get past the Pirates, I'd be more scared of the Cubs than the Pirates if they come out of that one-game playoff. But gosh, the National League is so fun to watch right now, and the Central is so good.
All of baseball is fun to watch right now.
Oh, definitely. I got an iPhone literally like 3 weeks ago, first smartphone I've ever had, and I got the MLB at bat, and I watch live look-ins all the time. I'm watching baseball. More importantly, I listen to baseball all the time because that's my connection to it is radio broadcasting and everything like that.
You know who else listens to baseball? Adam Jones.
Does he really?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
because you've seen that commercial
on the MLB at bat. Yeah, and he's like got game day. He's like, who's he talking about? Who's that pitcher that he's looking at? He's like, oh man, he's dirty.
Man, I don't know about your Cardinals.
Yeah, I don't know either. They've obviously done great regular season up to this point. I hope they finish the last couple weeks out strong. And I love Mike Matheny, but you know what? They've struggled in the postseason in series. They've arguably should have won. They got the Dodgers last year, which was great, but you never know.
I think the Dodgers have the talent, but the thing that I've noticed from them is they don't have what it takes in the clubhouse.
Yeah,
and that is something that the Giants and the Cardinals have.
Yeah, they thrived off their clubhouse.
And I'll tell you what, that is huge. Having been in clubhouses, that's huge. And, you look at the Giants, the last 3 out of the 5 years, they've won the World Series. Yeah. They haven't had the best teams.
Oh, not.
It's been, Bruce Bochy and what goes on in that clubhouse.
Yeah.
They have whatever it is.
It is. It's hard to describe because everybody's searching for what it is and how do you manufacture it, because you got guys that like Billy Beane that try to manufacture their own way of winning, and by the numbers. And you got sabermetricians, and you got Yankees that buy their talent, and
Dodgers
Dodgers as well. And while there's merit to each and every one of those game plans to win, when it comes to postseason baseball, there's something else. There's something intangible that you can't plan for, I think. And certain managers bring that out of their players. Matheny, I think, can. La Russa could. Bochy absolutely does.
Yeah, I'm saying the Giants don't make it.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
It's a little late for them.
I'm kind of on the limb with the Cardinals. I'm thinking that the Cubs and the Pirates come out of the Central.
Oh, then you got the Mets, too. They're just tearing
Mets,
it up.
I have never been a Mets fan.
No.
But I really like what they're doing up there.
Really hard not to root for them right now.
They've got a pitching staff. How can you not like Matz and DeGrom and Syndergaard and who was
Harvey
the Vancouver Canadian came out, played over here at Salem Kaiser.
Right.
And Harvey, with the issues that he's had lately, I'll tell you what, the kid could pitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you got Conforto from Morgan State.
That's been a fun
Bartolo
story.
Colon, who is a freak.
Someone mentioned Bartolo Colon earlier in the show.
Doc Jacobs, yes.
Played back in the 90s, right? And here this dude is. He's a 41 tub or whatever. He's still throwing the ball and getting outs.
Yeah, he is an athletic freak. Honestly, you look at him and you laugh, but he really is.
Well, he's got to be.
I've seen him up close, and so absolutely. What about out of the American League?
Out of the American League, man, I don't like the Yankees. I don't, but the way they won last night, the way that Alex has been playing, it's crazy, man. Texas is really coming along, and they won last night. Prince Fielder had a 2-run bomb in the 8th inning to beat the Astros, and now they're within a half game of Houston going into today. And Houston's a great story, but they strike out way too much.
Yep.
Texas, I love the move that they made for Hamels and the fact that they made it when they were like still 6 and 7 games out, and now they're like pushing the top of the West. I think they're going to come into fine form. And obviously Kansas City, look, people were surprised by how well they did last year, and then they didn't think Dayton Moore could put it together for another year, and they were wrong. I mean, this is a sustainable method of winning for them. I would love another Interstate 70 series, Cardinals-Royals, which happened back in '85. And the Royals won in 7 games behind Brett Saberhagen and George Brett. I would love to see that again, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I would trust Kansas City to make it back to the Classic more so than St. Louis at this point.
Right.
It hurts me to say, but Kansas City's a good club. I'd take them out of the American League.
I called that 4 or 5 years ago when Kansas City was starting to develop all those first-round draft picks. What the Houston Astros are doing now.
Yeah.
It takes time, but look where the Royals are. The Astros are ahead of schedule. The Astros are going to be around for a long time. I mean,
they brought Lance McCullers up this year. Like, he got major league experience this year. And yeah, you're right. I mean, you look at that farm system, they've got it loaded. And even if they don't bring everybody up, think of who they can flip for valuable pieces next year. You know, like Jeff Luno, who's the GM there, he's got ties to the St. Louis organization, as we unfortunately found out with the email hacking back in that story back in spring training. Jeff Luno knows his baseball. And
Absolutely.
He knows how to run an organization. Dayton Moore knows his baseball. So does Mozilak over and Sabian as well. But it's just hard. It's hard to win, but it's really cool to see these clubs that have faltered for so long, especially my growing up, like recent days, ever since Biggio and Bagwell left. It was like, man, those Astros aren't very good anymore. They've been dwelling at the bottom, and now
they're back.
Yeah, switch to the American League. Look what it does for you.
They're back, and they have 3 of the most electric players that I have ever seen in Correa, George Springer, who doesn't get talked about enough, and then Jose Altuve, who is
my favorite player.
He is up there for me.
Yeah.
Right now, he's up there with Trout and Machado. I mean, baseball right now is in a great place with all this young talent.
And, people say, oh, it's not getting the ratings. Like, Fox Saturday Baseball won't get the ratings. The Fall Classic, the World Series sometimes doesn't get the great ratings. But you know as well as I do, like, it's regionally based. I mean, fans connect to the team that's close to them, right? And they watch their regional broadcasts, and they watch every game, Yep. And they connect on the radio. It doesn't have to be football. I'm tired. It fatigues me when I always have to stand up for baseball when they're like, oh, yeah, it doesn't compare to football in the ratings. It doesn't compare to the NBA Finals in the ratings. It's like, I don't care about how it does in the ratings. I honestly don't. I love this game. It's in a great spot. I really like Commissioner Manfred.
Yes.
And I love the direction, the grain and scope situations that he has to deal with. I really like him. And baseball means so much to me. And there are a lot of problems with it. And it's got a black eye every now and then. But, man, if it's been around this long, since the 1800s, it's going to make it through. And,
absolutely.
But the young stars, like you were just mentioning, I couldn't be more excited about the game.
Oh, absolutely.
Gosh.
And
just gets me fired up thinking about it.
So my World Series, so I'm going to go online. Here we go.
Shoot.
So my World Series prediction is Toronto out of the American League.
I like it.
How can you not like the new Bash Brothers, man? I mean,
Josh and Jose.
Holy crap. And then you got Edwin and Carcinian. I mean, they are loaded.
And Smoke's even been hitting for them.
Marcus Stroman is back.
Duke product.
And he also played with the Vancouver Canadians, made a brief appearance here in Salem Kaiser. Heck of a nice guy.
Matt Boyd is there now. He got traded to Toronto this year. And
they just picked up, who did they pick? They picked up former Oregon State guy.
Well, Matt Boyd went to Oregon State, the left-hander.
Yeah,
He's-
but
he's
they also picked up somebody else from the Dodgers. I'm trying to think right off the top of my head. I can't
Did
remember.
they get Darwin?
They got Darwin Barney. Yes.
Darwin? Okay, nice.
Yes, and so that's a decent pickup.
I like it. I
you
like
know,
it.
he's on the major league roster, and he's up.
And more often than not,
And
when
so-
you see rosters expand into the postseason, it's guys like Darwin Barney that get called upon to do something big. So look for that.
So Toronto,
I like that Toronto.
and are you ready for my National League pick?
Are you going New York?
I really want to.
Yeah.
I really want to, but I'm going to go with Andrew McCutchen and the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Really?
Yes, they're
Wow.
hot right now.
They are. They're rolling.
They're hot,
They're rolling.
and I think they're dangerous. They're
It's
pitching.
that one game playoff that scares you, though, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
It's like
Oh, yeah.
feast or famine with
Yeah, their pitching scares me a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but right now, McCutchen is my favorite player in the game today.
He's awesome to watch.
And,
Awesome to watch.
But I will tell you to watch out for the Chicago Cubs because they are loaded.
Yeah, they are so
And so-
loaded. Theo, man, Theo knows what he's doing, and you talk about exciting guys to watch. Schwarber for me. Like,
Yeah.
I could watch Kyle Schwarber swing a bat all day long, and Chris Bryant as well, obviously, and Anthony Rizzo has an amazing story. And I'm a Cardinal fan. I spent my college days going to Wrigley because I was about a half-hour train ride away from the north side, and but the Cubs obviously they weren't very good until this year. It's awesome to see that and see their fan base react. I want them to win that one-game playoff with Pittsburgh. I mean, and you never know. 2 weeks left, they could even push St. Louis a little bit, given the current rate.
Yeah,
But,
you know, it's to a point to where honestly, you know, I'm not going to cry. You have to do it.
yeah,
Baseball's in a great place. You know, for a baseball fan like me, you know, I grew up hating the Mets, but I'm liking the Mets now. I'm liking what they're doing. Baseball's in a great place.
do you get to go to the games every now and then?
I haven't been to a major league game in years. I
Yeah.
go to minor league games.
Well, I mean, our location doesn't help.
I go to minor league games,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's for me. That's where it's at. And so
Salem Kaiser had a nice little push in
they had a nice little run.
Northwest League this year.
They did, and they had a pretty decent team.
Yeah.
They had some pitching, and then the kid out of Louisville.
Funkhauser?
I can't remember his name now. The big first baseman.
Oh, never mind.
So I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but yeah, he started getting a little hot there. Shaw.
Shaw, right?
And
Okay,
so,
nice.
But you know, title runs through Hillsborough once again.
I went to game one of the final series on it was a couple nights ago, last Thursday night, and Dansby Swanson, the number 1 overall pick from Vanderbilt. I'm impressed. I'm thankful that the Diamondbacks left him down there for the whole short.
They
A-ball.
normally don't.
They normally don't,
Yeah.
and he was good enough to be brought up, but they left him down, and it was really cool. He did some things defensively that are like, okay, yeah, this kid's for real, and he did some things with the bat. He walked off Salem Kaiser in a game in the semifinals, or in the South Division Championship Series, I should say, with a double to deep center field. He's going to be really good, and
Yeah, he is.
It's a lot of fun. We're going to be looking back and going, hey, Dansby Swanson was playing in Hillsborough once upon a time.
Tell you what, you know, I've been around the Northwest League a long time, and I get asked all the time on some of the players who have came through, and you know, Swanson rates up there.
What are some other names?
Oh
I'm sure you can.
I'm going off the night that Mike Zunino hit the 2 home runs at Volcano Stadium.
Yeah.
We were arguing. Brian got that on video. We were arguing what kind of shot it was because the first one bounced off the scoreboard. I mean, it hit hard.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I remember arguing with Joe Migloretto, good friend.
He works for
And
the,
yes, and we were arguing over whether it was a laser, it was a cannon, you know, the type of shot.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to say Connor Jackson, who played
Really?
with the Diamondbacks. He never, I think he did make a couple of years up with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Of course, he's more known by his dad. I believe John Jackson, who
Okay.
played on Jag, was an actor that played on Jag. Felix Hernandez,
Yeah. How could you not, right?
Dontrell Willis.
Yes. I forget
Dontrell
about
Willis.
that. D-Train. Man, was he smooth and that big hit leg kick. Did
But
he have the leg kick in the
He
Northwest?
did have
League?
the leg kick. Man, it goes back so far. Rodney Tafoya, who we've had on the show a couple times, pitched with the Boise Hawks in the 90s.
Andrew Moore is now obviously with Eugene.
Andrew Moore, Andrew's awesome.
Mike Piazza.
Piazza.
Dante Bichette.
Yeah.
Mark McLemore. Kirk McCaskill.
See, Brian goes way back.
This is a little bit. Okay, I need to do some more research.
Ken Griffey Jr.
With
Jose
Bellingham.
Canseco.
Yep.
Who's he?
Yeah. Ozzy's brother.
Scott Brocious.
Oh, yeah, Ozzy's brothers.
Scott Brocious.
Joe Madden.
Coach, Salem Angels. Yep.
See, that's awesome, man.
Yep.
Joe has an incredible story, and to think that it ran through Salem Oregon is awesome.
There's a great history about the Northwest League. At one time, it was a AAA league.
And that's the beauty of just minor league ball in general. Like, people don't understand the grind and I went to the Hops game. I walked out and the Tri-Cities bus was sitting outside. I talked to their bus driver, John something. I need to remember his last name. I was going to look him up on Baseball Reference because he said he played pro ball a couple years. But I literally talked to him for 15 minutes about the 2 years that he spent in Double-A trying to make it as a White Sox left-hander. And I loved the story. And that's what baseball gives you, right? It's that grind. It's those road trips. It's the Pasco, Washington to Eugene, Oregon. It's the middle of nowhere, Idaho to somewhere in Utah trying to get it done. Omar Vizquel, we mentioned him earlier. He has a story of when he got off the bus for the first time and he was in Butte, Montana.
Yeah.
And he's like, I expect his funny little accent and everything. He's like, I expected the big lights, I expected the big city, and I got off in the Butte, Montana, and I'm like, where am I? And then he became what he became. And that's baseball gives you that opportunity if you take it. But man, it's just so. I'm always intrigued by the stories that people tell of how they make it or even just grind through the minor leagues.
It is a grind. And I will tell you that firsthand experience, being clubby in the minor leagues, Cal League, Northwest League, and man, it's tough.
And you have an ability, Norm, even in the interviews, to connect with people. But even more so, I can imagine when you were in the clubhouses with these guys, pain and failure of striking out, looking twice in a game, and knowing that it's more than just striking out twice. Like, scouts were looking at you, and you might have just cost yourself a shot at the next level. And guys wear that on their sleeves. Like, I'm sure you've seen a lot of emotions in clubhouses like that people that watch SportsCenter every night and watch SportsCenter Top 10 can't connect with. So
I'm going to leave you with a story before we sign off.
Yeah, we're keeping Brian here.
Carlos Gonzalez, Rockies outfielder. 4th of July, 2006. We're at High Desert in Altadena, California. And it was smoky. All the fireworks were going off around the stadium. There was a haze over the stadium. Carlos, playing right field for the Lancaster Jethawks, goes back for a fly ball. Next thing you know, we see him falling at the wall. Brett Butler, who is our manager, starts pacing back and forth in the dugout, saying, 17 years in the major leagues, I've never seen anything like that. And I'm looking at my trainer, Rob Nepper, did I just see what I just saw? And Rob was kind of in awe as well. What had happened was the ball had bounced off of his head and went over the fence, a.k.a. Jose Canseco.
Right.
And so that was in the 3rd or 4th inning of the game. And I remember Carlos, a five-tool guy, playing with the glove over his face for the remainder of the game. He was so embarrassed. But to give it to him, I made a helmet for him with a bullseye on it for the next day, and I put it in his locker in the clubhouse, and he took it like a champ. He didn't throw a fit. He didn't cry. He put the helmet on and he went out for practice and batting practice wearing that helmet, and he took it like a champ. And now look where he's at today.
And you always have that memory and story about him, right? As he's hitting 40 home runs at Coors Field every year.
He's a star.
I remember that guy when he took a fly ball off the hat for a home run.
And Mark Reynolds, Cardinals. I'll give you a Mark Reynolds story.
That's feast or famine there.
Mark Reynolds. Awesome guy.
Yeah.
One of the very first batting practices in Lancaster that he took in 2006. He wanders up and there's an airplane up in the sky. Just stops doing what he's doing and asks, man, I'm really amazed on how airplanes can stay up in the sky. How do they do it? I mean, it was just like a squirrel running across the field. And so that year, Mark Reynolds was not an all-star, but he led the league in home runs. Mm-hmm. His deal was he had played 5 different positions
Yeah.
in the season, and nobody would give him enough votes at a position to make the All-Star team.
Was he in the American League at the time? I'm trying to think of where else he would play.
We were Diamondbacks.
Besides corner outfield and corner infield.
And so, I mean, he got votes,
Yeah.
but he got 2 or 3 here, 2 or 3 there, and none of them were just enough for one position. So he got screwed out of a Cal League All-Star position while leading the league in RBIs and home runs.
That's ridiculous.
And so, yeah. So I'm Norm. This is Judah Newby, 750 The Game. And where can we hear you, man? So tell us a little bit.
Well, you can, at the moment, you can hear me a lot, probably, unfortunately for you. No, I'm just kidding. FM News 101 KXL, I do morning updates there starting at 5:15 in the morning, all the way on the morning news show that goes from 5 to 9 a.m. On 15 and 45, I do 2 sports updates an hour. And then starting at 7 a.m., I do hourly sports updates. 7 to 3 on 750 and 102.9 The Game, the home of the Oregon Ducks and the NFL. And just recently, I'm also starting to work with John Canzano, award-winning journalist with The Oregonian, sports commentator on KGW-TV, and, of course, the host of the Bald-Faced Truth radio show that just celebrated its 8th year anniversary last week.
That's awesome.
Which is amazing because I was listening to the show when I was a kid, and now I'm working on it with John. And it's an amazing experience, and we're really looking forward to seeing this kind of new direction that we're taking it here for the next little bit.
Well, congratulations.
And I'll tell Chop I said, what's up
Dude,
for you?
you tell Chop.
I'll see him tomorrow.
You tell Chop I'm coming for him.
You got it. He's like, oh, hey, Chop, make sure you get Norm on as a guest afternoons.
Tell him I want him. Tell him, I've reached out to him numerous times, and I know he's a busy man.
You guys would click. You guys would hit it off.
I have
right
been
away.
Following Chop for years
Since
when he was
KUFO.
back since KUFO days.
That's
with
right.
Dog. Yes, great guy. He has done a couple things for me in the show. I know he listens every once in a while.
He gave me my first job actually there back in June 2013. He was acting PD and hired me on, and so I have everything to thank him for.
Tell him if he wants to talk baseball, bring me on.
He'll say something like, my boys, and then I'll be like, yeah, let's talk baseball.
Yeah.
I will for sure, Norm.
So that's
Thank you.
producer Brian. We are sponsored by baseballisms.com. Check them out. They got some good deals going on. They got a childhood cancer deal going on to where they donate some money back from their hats, shirts are running out. Who else we got, Brian? Baseballdudes.com. To be the best, you must train like the best. Chris Gazelle up there in Vancouver, Washington. Base by Pros. We're talking about Mitch Canham. Great guy.
Big shout, Mitch.
Yes, and he will be coming on the show hopefully sometime. Sports education, check him out. Brent Lillibridge is up there as well with him. So
Yeah,
former Brave.
former White Sox.
Yes.
And Brave
Yes.
Lillibridge.
Mark Canham, Mitch Canham's dad, MDM Designs, does our shirts for us. And we are stream live every week, yamhilltoday.com. And if you would like to sponsor the show, shoot me an email, normbo18@gmail.com. And we are on Twitter, Clubhouse Chatter, 1T, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes. And Brian, what do you got this week? Football.
Do we ever want to talk about it? Sprague, McMinnville. It's going to be
Sprague?
another ugly game.
Hey, you know what? But they hung tough. They hung tough with South Salem, though, didn't they?
Yeah, for a half. They don't fight. They don't quit. It's going to be tough, though.
It was better than
3 tough
it was
games
better
in a row.
than West Salem.
Oh, much better. Much better.
So check them out, yamhilltoday.com. Brian has a show on Saturday mornings. Good stuff. Once again, Judith, thank you. Let's do this again.
Appreciate you, Norm.
Love
Thank
having you on. It's been awesome watching you grow into the young man you are and being
From the
successful.
high-pitched little 8-year-old I used to be.
Oh man, this is awesome. this is probably one of the coolest things that I've done with the show so far.
Likewise, it's been
And
awesome.
so, hey, catch us next week. Be following us on Facebook. We're out. Thanks.